when most people think about animating, they think about Adobe Animate or some other program. But today I'll be showing you how to do it with Adobe Photoshop. So what you have to do is you have to open it. So the key thing about Adobe Photoshop is normally used for drawing and for touching. So on the left, you see your tools. So you have the move tool, the masking tool. These three are actually all masking. This is the this crops and distorts your photos. This is the eyedropper. And actually, to be honest, if you hover over them, they do tell you. But so pretend you wanna start if you wanna start animate, you start by opening the a new file. So you go to File, New, and then you get to choose. So obviously, I have been doing some drawing. So what I like to use is the 16 by 12 custom format, which is something I designed which is a template I designed myself. So once you selected the ones you want, you click create, and that's now. So right in the center, this is the canvas. So the canvas, it's where it's what the audience will see once you're finished. So on the right top side is your color. You gotta pick what color you want, and this side right here is helps you again choose your color. This bottom part is the layer section. So pretend you want to make a layer. You click this button. This creates a layer. This creates a folder. This adds this adds effects to your layers. This masks your layers, and these two you don't really care. This deletes the layer. So if you want to delete, you click this. This lock prevents you from deleting it. So let's start with the layer, and the main tool you'll probably be using is the brush tool. So when you click on the brush, you see you have this section right up here. So this shows you that you're using the brush. This, if you open this, you can control the size. So as you can see, currently the diameter of this is 70 pixels. If you increase this up, the diameter is now 332. The hardness is here. Let me do a demonstration. So with a hardness of 100, if you were to draw, the borders are really sharp, or sharper than the majority. So if you were to take the hardness down to, let's say, 0, and if you did the same thing, as you can see, the borders are a lot more fuzzy, and that's sort of what hardness does. It increases or decreases the sharpness of the line you're drawing. So the other tool you'll have to use is the eraser right here. So the eraser has the same presets, but here, instead of drawing it, you erase it. And onto this part. So the opacity, if you have a drawing tablet, you can control the opacity with the sensitivity on your pen. So you can sort of do things like that, which is quite useful. But if as what most people don't have a drawing tablet. So what you can do, you can manually control it here. So at 43 opacity, only erases half the amount, and if you do 100%, it erases it all. So that's what you can control. Flow doesn't really influence anything, and smoothing, it works a lot more effectively on the brush. So when you draw it, if you have 100% smoothing, actually I'm gonna erase it and make it so it's sharper. Okay, so now that I erased it, if I make it a little sharper, so smoothing, it makes it so your lines are not as sharp. So if I were to do, as you can see, it doesn't extend out to where I'm actually extending it to. So if I were to do it without any smoothing, the difference, you could probably see a difference right here. So anyways, on to, so in order to do a animation or GIF, which is what most people do, they use a timeline. So how, if you want to open it, you go to Windows and you can find it right here. So you click on it, if you click on it and it opens. So what you do is you create a video timeline and you get this. So now onto the timeline part. This is the layer number. So as you can see, layer 1. I'm going to increase the size of this a little. And you see layer 2, you could change it right here, and it changes on the timeline. This is the duration of the frames, I guess, in which we could call it. So each layer is a frame. So is a scene. Let me rephrase. You can control how long a layer is by putting your cursor on the back or the front side and controlling and pushing or pulling it. So what and this button right here, this controls the this controls everything else. So pretend so if you want to get started, I recommend you look at the timeline frame rate. So what I normally like to use is 30 FPS. I draw by 2s. So as you can see, 30 FPS right here, and then you click OK. So what you have to do is you have when you're drawing them. Actually, what I would prefer to do is to copy one of the empty layers with, if you're drawing by 2s like this. So whenever you're done drawing one layer, you could just Command V it in, and you can just move it into the next spot. So pretend you want to draw something like a box spinning, right? You could just draw a rectangle here. You can move to the next, and if you really want to see the previous frames, you could open Onion Skins right here, and then it gives you a little more guide in what to draw. And then if you continue this throughout the frames, and now as you can see, I'm out of frame. So what I do is I Command V it because I previously copied the empty frame. Then once you're done that, you could drag it in, and then you could continue it right here. You could draw on the frame. Let's just make sure this all looks okay, because I don't want anything bad. Oh yeah, let's turn the smoothing to 0, because I like it when it responds. So now you see this. Whenever you want to test out an animation, make sure to turn off Onion Skins because it's really laggy. It doesn't really help. So now that this works, you could go click space to play it, and it plays. But as you can see, it's a little laggy right now. It's mainly because it's not exported, but you can have it looks like it's spinning now, so that's all good. So pretend you want this to be an animation or your GIF. So what you can do, you could go to File. Either you could save for the web, or you could render video. What I'm gonna do is, because this is a GIF, GIFs work really well for PowerPoint and other presentation methods. So I'm gonna use export. I'm gonna export the GIF. So pretty much what you see, you reach this section right here. So make sure you have GIF selected, and then let's zoom out a little. So pretty much what you see is this. And if you really want to preview it, you can click the preview button down here, and it'll bring you up to a web page. Now let's just adjust. There we go. As you can see, it's a little rough, but it works. Let's go back and save, and it'll bring up the save menu. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just save it under the tank spinning folder, and I'm gonna name it. Yeah, that works. Okay, now that it's saved, I could go into the Finder, which and Windows people, I don't even know what's called. But then, so pretty much, I'm gonna go find the file, which is some in tank spinning, and here on Macs you space click to open GIFs. As you can see, voila, an animation. A little rough, but it works.